Bell brass. I've always wanted a bell brass snare drum. Forever. I've always wanted a bell brass snare drum. And admittedly, I've always wanted a Tama bell brass snare drum. And I probably will at some point put my hand in my pocket just enough to get one of those when I can find the 12, 13, 1400, 1500 quid, whatever they cost. But I think if I had sort of a bucket list of snare drums, the Tama bell bronze would be, or the bell brass would be on that list. I don't know why. It's just one of those drums I've always thought was really, really cool, and I always wanted one. And a few months ago, I came across. I watch eBay a lot. I kind of look at eBay like some sort of online magazine, which is how I managed to pick up a lot of these things. It's just something I just maybe scan through every day or every other day, and just have a quick read through of what's there. I check certain things, pasties. I have a look at the old Craviotto, but I've never bought a Craviotto from eBay. And then I just sometimes put in generic searches like bell brass snare or something. And a few months ago, this came up, and I saw it, and it said 12 by 5.5. Bell brass snare drum, and he actually said it was gold hardware. And then as soon as I actually got it, I realised it's brass. It's not gold at all. The bloke was an idiot, didn't know what he was talking about. But he got the shell material right, which was the main thing. And I knew that he got it right because he said it weighs a lot more than it looks like it's going to weigh, and which is generally a good sign that it's bell brass. This particular drum, as I said, I bought from eBay. I think I paid about 325 quid for it, which was kind of a lot of money. But at the same time, I knew what I was buying, and I knew what I was buying wasn't going to be cheap. And so I had a few extra pennies that month, and so I basically put in enough, and I won the drum. And it turned up a few days later, and it was cool. And I changed out. There's a reason I haven't picked it up, is because they weigh a ton. But it came with, oh yeah, despite the fact it's 12 inches, as I said, it is very heavy for what it is. It turned up with some old head on the top. I put an Evans 360. It's a G12 actually, so I think it's a slightly thicker head on there, and I did bin it. I've got just a Snare side 300 on the bottom, and some Pure Sounds obviously as well. The bottom head actually I think was the original head on it, because it was a DW low-code head. I can't remember what happened to the wires. I think they were a bit knackered. So I basically just swapped them out. But in terms of you know what it is, it's actually from 1998. It's a drum workshop. Well, obviously, it's a drum workshop bell brass from 1998. It's actually stamped inside just there. The fella didn't actually put on the listing that it was from 1998, and that was a pleasant surprise, because in 1998, unlike now, Drum Workshop was a sort of small custom drum builder. It was nothing like what it is today, and I remember it when it was in the late 90s, and it was still churning out, you know, good product and stuff, but you know, it was just a very different company. It just was so much smaller. So the fact that this is from 98 is cool. It's from when they were, you know, as I said, a good small size company. Drum itself, it's got the sort of Gladstone throw off on it. It's fine, it works. You know, DW butt plate. It's all very standard stuff. in terms of drum workshop, but it's more that it's you know, the shell is what it is, and it's got all this. I'll do the close up anyway, but you know, it's got all the. Hopefully, you can see all the sort of patina sort of marks on the shell, and yeah, that's cool. It gives it some more character as far as I'm concerned, and I'm now going to put it down because I don't want to drop it on my foot or something. But I paid, as I said, I paid about 340 quid for it with the shipping, because the shipping was 15 quid, and that was fine. I don't normally go for stuff that seems to be well over the limit for a reasonable limit for shipping, but because I don't like you know, people having a laugh at my expense. But in that particular instance, I didn't mind because I knew it was going to cost a lot more. And oddly enough, about a week later, there was a 13x5 that came up, and I did have a punt, but I think I would have put it on my credit card had I actually won it, but I didn't put enough of a bid. It was a half-assed bid, and it went somewhere else. No, it was fine. Actually, no, I think it was a 14. It was a 14x5, but I gave up on it, and that was fine. And anyway, so probably about 6 weeks ago, I was just you know, on my travels on eBay again, and I came across this drum. And this was listed as a 12x5 metal drum workshop snare drum, and basically it was being sold by basically a pawn shop, and I think it was cash converters for those in the UK, but it was being sold by a pawn shop. And at the top of the listing said, I don't know what metal this is, it's a drum workshop metal snare drum. And I thought, hey, you know what? That looks like Bell Brass to me. And again, close-ups of the shell. And I'm like, you know what? It's the same as that. And I know that that's right. So that I took it as being Bell Brass. And I kept an eye on it, kept an eye on it, and I kept an eye on it. And I actually won it just minutes after I was told a friend of mine had died, which was a bit of a deflating experience, because she was a good friend of mine and my wife's, and she was always very supportive of. I knew her because her partner was a bass player in some bands that I'd been in, and you know, it was it sucks basically. But so I haven't written it in because I haven't taken the head off this yet. But I'm gonna name this drum Paula after her, because of, you know, what happened. But the funny thing, I suppose, with this is I'd actually forgotten. I'd forgotten that one was a 12x5.5, and the only reason I bought this was I thought, you know what, that drum is so cool. And normally, those aside, because they are all technically different, normally I would never buy two of the same snare drum, because it's obviously a little bit pointless. I'm going to make a little bit of an exception in this instance, and I'm going to, you know what, I'm going to keep an eye on this, I'm going to have a go at it, and if I get it, then I get it, and that'd be great. And as I said, obviously I did get it. I got this for an absolute steal. I don't know what the US or any other equivalent would be, but I bought this for 220 quid, and it was £5 and some shrapnel shipping as well. And the best thing about it, it turned up the next day as well. So I mean, you know, how unheard of is that? So it was an absolute steal all around. The drum is, again, it's a Bell Brass, but it's a 12x5, and as I said, I'd forgotten that was a 5.5. So I thought I was just getting another drum exactly the same as that one, but with the standard hardware. And it was only, very literally, it was only when I put them down on the floor in here next to each other and I realised that one was bigger. So you know, I've got the mind of a goldfish sometimes. But in terms of this drum, yeah, the major thing that's different is it's been retrofitted with a MagSafe, which is that, which is fine. There's no extra holes. It works probably better than the original one would anyway, so that works for me. This is also from 1998, which again I didn't know until it turned up, which was awesome. This also has this has actually got Pure Sound blasters on it. It's got a Remo on the bottom, and it's got a Fiberskin 2 on the top, and it's one of the older Fiberskins. You can tell because of the logo, but I've got it cranked up. You know, it sounds like a high-pitched metal snare drum, albeit with a lot more sort of weight behind it, and it's more ringy. But you know, as I said, I don't normally buy two of the same snare drum. I did make an exception in this instance, and I'm very glad that I did, because because it was well worth it. So those are my two. Those are like numbers 1 and 2 of my 12-inch snare drum purchases for this year. The third one is in another video, but yeah, I'll do a spin of both of those, obviously separately because I can't get them on the spinning wheel together on top of each other. But it's got they both got the pitting, they both got the age. You know, they look like they're 18 years old, and you know what? Cool, because the patina gives it a little bit more character. To me anyway, and you know, I really dig that. So there you go, 12 by 5 and 12 by 5.5 DW bell bronze or bell brass. I have read actually it's terminology differences, and it's actually the same thing, but either way, you know, it is what it is. They're fantastic snare drums, very ringy, and loud as anything. So I think in that particular instance, either one, well maybe that one anyway, I think if you were in a reasonable sized room, unmiked, I don't know if you'd be able to tell whether that was a 12 or whether it's a large drum, but either way. The 14-inch Tama, and I kind of always wanted a 14 6.5 Tama bell brass. We'll have to wait. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.